Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be here. And I am super excited for my guest tonight and my guest's guest to be here. Not only did we just attend Landscape Lighting Live a couple months ago in Tampa, Florida, but we also just got done doing a landscape lighting install today. So it was only fitting to have Ryan Lee come on, just kind of talk about landscape lighting, all things Landscape Lighting Live has to offer coming up in May, and just dive into the landscape lighting world because I see how explosive it is right now, just like pressure washing was 10, 15 years ago, just like Christmas lights is starting to become the last 3 to 5 years. And why wait to jump on the bandwagon when you can be ahead of the curve and get all the skills, training, and knowledge you need while attending Landscape Lighting Live? So I will introduce our guests to give us a little bit about themselves, and we'll just talk anything to do with landscape lighting for the next 30 minutes. What do you say, guys?
Sounds good.
I love it, man.
All right.
So
starting to my right, we got Andy on here. So I'm gonna I like this, like the Brady Bunch. You know, I got to reach into each other. Like, here you go, pass me the mic.
Well, I'm Andy. I'm with Sandy Beach Lighting Design. We're out of Indiana. And I've been doing landscape lighting solely as a standalone business for about a year and a half now. I've been in the outdoor industry almost 25 years, but landscape lighting has just really been a game changer as far as a business model. To have a singular kind of focus has really been good for us.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome.
All right. You were supposed to reach down.
Let me drop down. There you go. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So Ryan Lee, I got into the landscape lighting industry. I used to be a window cleaner back in the day. Found out about Christmas lights, how awesome that was. And then I found out about landscape lights and I was like, wait, what? I can do lighting year round. So I did that until 2019, sold my business, and now full-time, I get the opportunity to help with the industry, help people just like yourselves that are looking to do this full-time and figure out the business game of it so that you can work on your business and not be stuck operating it. So I founded Landscape Lighting Secrets, and then now I've got my in-person events, Landscape Lighting Live, which is just a phenomenal opportunity for people to come and I mean, we have people that are brand new, just getting started, like you, JC, to other people they already know about landscape lighting, and we're helping them on the business side. So excited to be here, man. Thanks for having us. And by the way, I love what you're doing, JC. I know you're only like a week in or 2 weeks into your 30-day of Facebook Lives, but you're like a natural, dude. Like you act like I feel like you've been doing this for years. You've got it down, bro. You're doing great.
I appreciate it, and it's been fun. It's been scary, and
I
look forward to it until the day somebody is supposed to be on live with me and they don't show up, and I'm like, let's talk about. So I feed off of everybody's energy.
Yeah. Well, if that comes up, just shoot me a text. I'll hop on, man.
I got you, man. I got you. I appreciate you fist pump down. All right. So let's talk landscape lighting. So it's something that I wanted to do for the last 3 years. Every single year it was, we're going to do it. We're going to start it. We're just going to dive right into it. And guess what happened? Life. Nothing would happen. We get busy. We get caught up in the business. And then we dive into the Christmas light world. And we all know how insane that is for September till January. So there's no breathing. And year after year went by. And finally, this year, I pulled the trigger. I saw you had the Tampa class up there, and you've been talking about it for a while. I'm like, I got to do it. And I said, all right, we're doing it. But I'm not doing it alone because I wanted to take my sales manager with me, Patrick, because I can go there. You can teach me all these things. I can take my notes, which I probably wasn't going to anyway, and bring back all the resources and say, Patrick, all right, this is what I learned. Now go sell it. And it doesn't work that way because now I'm sitting there spending more of my valuable time to teach Patrick about the sales process, about the install, understanding the different things. So it made sense for me financially because it wasn't an expense. It was an investment in Patrick and myself to come to Landscape Lighting Secrets and learn everything you can give us in 2 days about landscape lighting. And like I like to tell everybody, it's enough. It's not enough to make you dangerous, but it's enough to get you excited, and it's get you in the right step to move forward and actually start implementing the landscape lighting installs and start your company. So what you do in 2 days is absolutely incredible. Like we talked about earlier on the phone, like I don't know how you do it all alone with the little help that you had there. And your assistant, by the way, is phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. But like you deliver nonstop value and just tons of resources, bringing us out in the field, bringing us out to a vendor was just so incredible to get that much in 2 days and feel comfortable going home that we said, we're starting March 1st. We're going live with this. And we didn't wait. We said March 1st, we're going live with this. So thank you. And I'd like you just to kind of talk about, you know, the backstory of Landscape Lighting Live, what you did, like, and the things you focus on and what people who are attending to it in May, what they'll be getting out of it and why they should.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, honestly, like the one in Tampa that you attended, I haven't really been nervous. Even the first one, I wasn't really nervous. Like I'm super confident in the material that people need, and how I come up with what I'm going to talk about is I literally go back 15 years in the past, and I go, man, you know what sucked is I didn't know this, and you know what would have been good is like this and this and this, and it's actually pretty easy to put together an outline because I just try to solve my past problems, and I found out I didn't know this, but coaches. Like the reason I'm a coach is that I'm trying to heal my past, right? And this takes a lot of therapy to come out, but you're really trying to work on the previous version of yourself. And I get to do it by helping others avoid a lot of my pitfalls. And so that's really how I come up with the agenda. And it's also like, I hate going to conferences or whatever, where you feel like super pumped. And then you get home and you're like kind of stuck in your own routine and you're stuck in the ruts. And like, it felt good at the time. You're like, dude, this is the best event I've ever been to. But then it really isn't like transformational. So for me, like transformational is a huge part of what I'm trying to do. I would be highly disappointed in myself and the attendees if they didn't have some type of life-changing experience there. But the reason why I was so nervous is because you were there. And I'm not even saying this just because of this, but like the other ones before, I had people that I knew, but not very well. And the thing that I knew about you is like you're now a CLIPA instructor. So you like walk the walk, you've been in my shoes. So I'm like thinking, okay, he's going to be analyzing me in a different way than an attendee. You're also, you've like bought into coaches. Like you've been to some of the best conferences in the world, right? The program you're in now is not cheap. And so I'm like, oh crap. Like, I wonder what JC's going to think, you know? And, to me, it was like when people ask me like, so like, what's your event like? I'm like, well, to me, like the biggest testament is if I can get a guy like JC to not only show up, but actually like give me a compliment about it. Like that means the world to me. So I appreciate you being there, giving me your honest opinion and feedback. And that was just really cool.
Yeah, I really did the whole time I was engaged. I mean, you're an exciting person to be around. You're funny. You have the second best looking hair in the show right now. And
thank you.
Andy, you win. All right.
I know. Normally I'm pretty competitive, but sometimes I'm just like, no, yeah, I give up.
Yeah. And, you know, you're just a very giving person. We met at BBB in Nashville a year ago, probably. And I think it was December, maybe. I forget what it was. Last year, I was telling you about my first job. I had no training. And you took the time out of the night just to sit there and walk through step by step on a bar napkin of all things on how to install my first job based off pictures. And like that right there just showed like how much you truly care. And you didn't ask for anything. You didn't say, well, sign up for my course or go do this. You just genuinely wanted to help me out there. And I remember you following up and asking like, how did it go? So like that speaks volumes about your character and what you're trying to do. And what you're trying to do for the landscape lighting industry. And, you know, there's going to be haters no matter what we do in life. And I think what you're trying to do is incredible. I was against all these type of teaching things years ago, especially when I was pressure washing younger and like everybody's having these courses. Then like Christmas lights, I was like, this is stupid. They're going to flood the markets. And once I changed my whole mindset and said, no, JC, you're being ignorant right now. If anything, he's benefiting you by leveling up your competition. and showing them the resources on how to charge more, be a better installer, and keep everybody on the same level. It's just get that out of your head. Like, this is not bad for the industry. This is actually good, because no matter what, they're going to go install Christmas lights. They're going to go on YouTube and learn how to do it. I'd rather be going against somebody who's been trained by you and got the same knowledge, the same professionalism, and the understanding that we can market this at a high value versus, I can just do $12 over what I just paid for this light and make $50 today and go buy a beer tonight. So it's a blessing to have.
That's actually my strategy that I teach. Wait, what? We're not supposed to reveal the secrets.
It's
I had a similar feeling when I watched Ryan's podcast. I was just getting started. I had been in the business a long time, but I had never done any landscape lighting as a business. It was super scary. So to listen to Ryan's podcast, I signed up actually for the very first Landscape Lighting Live down in Palm Beach. It was, and so not only was it a great destination, I knew that I was going to come home with something from this beyond what I could do myself on YouTube. And I didn't even really know what to expect. I just knew that I was going to be better than I was before I went. So I actually brought my whole team with me, my lead installer, my marketing person, and myself. We all went, and not only was it phenomenal from what we learned, the people that I met there were in the same situation I was. Yeah. I mean, so now honestly, it's been a year and a half, and those are all still my friends. So that part of it was huge. Not to mention, he gave us a step-by-step instruction manual, how to run your business, the things I didn't even think about, the things I didn't have to think about. And, I'm not bragging or anything, but I had a very successful first year. We did about $500,000 our very first year in business.
That's amazing.
And I was charging the right amount. I was marketing the way I was supposed to, and I was confident, right? Success starts with confidence. And if there's anything that Ryan did for me that weekend was give me a ton of confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I saw in the class was it's not just for the new guys, because there's a lot of people who've been installing for years. And, you talked a lot about the business aspect of things. Well, I've been in business 13 years. What are you going to teach me, Ryan? A lot, actually. Like, you taught a lot. Like, there's always different sides, different perspectives on how to do things. And it was nice to see the way you approach it. So, Patrick and I were just like, wow, that's actually really good. We're writing this stuff down. So it's not, don't think that like, I've been doing this for 5 years and I don't need this. No, I heavily invested in training. No matter how good, great, long you've been doing something, we could always be doing something better, and we can always stay up with the trends and seeing who's doing what. So it was fun. It was engaging. And I got so much value out of every single aspect out of it. So you did a good job on that, Ryan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I respect both of you a tremendous amount. So to get those accolades from you guys means the world to me. That's why I do what I do. If I can just change one person's life like that, and when I say change the life, I'm just one element of it. There's so many. You have to come to the event and then you have to implement it. It still takes a lot of hard work. I just try to speed up that gap. There's so many things that I did wrong getting started. I can shave off years of someone's time, and that's what I say, changing someone's life. But you still have to do the work. But yeah, we really condensed time, and I really built it for the industry. I really built this because I struggled so much when I was younger, and like you said, we're always learning. I hate to tell you this, Andy, because Andy went to the first one, but the third one, the last one that JC went to, it was actually better than the one you went to, right? Because I had 18 months of new things that I learned, right? And some of those things were from students, from people that are like clients of mine. I'm constantly learning. So each and every one does get better. I get feedback, pros and cons. I add to what's great and I decrease what's not as great. And I'm excited for this next one. Every time we always try to one up the previous one. So apologize in advance, JC, but this one is actually going to be better than the one that you came to.
Well, Andy, I think he was telling you that you need to go to this one just to see what you've been missing now. So
yeah.
Well, yeah. So
Andy might come. He might take you up on that.
my plan is to actually come back to Utah. Ryan held a mastermind last summer. My wife and I went to it, and we met with additional people that had been in the secrets group, and we kind of did a mastermind. But in Utah, I can't tell you how phenomenal of a location that was. We actually went a day early and stayed 2 days later. We went horseback riding in the mountains after a fun-filled mastermind together. So I'm excited about actually going back to Utah.
We do need to talk about this, guys, because you know what? Like, I can't believe this. When I was at Clippa, I had people come up to booth and they're like, "So yeah, tell me about Landscape Lighting Live," and they're all excited. And I'm like, "So where is it?" I'm like, "It's May." And like, "Great, where is it?" I'm like, "It's in Utah." And they're like, "Do people go to Utah?" And I'm like, "What? Like, what does that even mean?" But like, people don't realize that Utah is a destination. I know it's not Florida. Like, I wish everything was in Florida, but like, that's the cool thing about Utah. It is unique. We need to talk about that because I've had like not just one person like have that be their like concern. Like, how do we get people to realize how badass Utah is? There's four state or not state parks. There's 4 national parks within 4 hours of Salt Lake City, right? And that's if you want to even go to a national park. We've got Park City here. We got mountains, lakes, rivers. We're gonna go on some hikes. Like, there's a lot that you can do right here. But I don't think people realize that. They're like, well, I'll just wait for him to do one in Florida again. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do one in Florida, guys. Like, I don't know. I might, but that's not
Well, the
necessarily the
mountains
plan.
are breathtaking. I mean, the weather is phenomenal. There was no shortage of great places to eat. I mean, it was somewhere that I would go even if there weren't a Landscape Lighting Live there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was just there after Vegas. I went to Moab, and then from Moab, I flew to Salt Lake City, and I was just amazed of how breathtaking Moab was. Like, absolutely incredible. 2 days of side by sides out there. I would give anything to get back out there as soon as I can because it was phenomenal. So much fun, so much to see, and flying over Salt Lake, it looked like a beautiful city. The only thing I really know about Salt Lake is the Olympics from way back when. But from what you're making it sounds like there's a lot more to do. And for me personally, I've done Florida. I've done Texas. I've done Myrtle Beach. It's like, I want to do something new. I want to do something fun. So for somebody to have an opportunity to write off a family trip or an adventure to go check out something new, why not? Why not go to Utah and see what's out there? So
Absolutely.
What's
They
the
really
weather like
should.
there anyway? Is it hot?
I think 70 today, but the weird thing is we had like 10 inches of snow last week. So
Oh, wow.
that's not normal. We have the snowpack is insane this year, which means we're going to have awesome waterfall, rivers, lakes, all that stuff. So I think the temperatures for the event is May 18th and 19th next month. I think average temperatures are like 60, 70 degrees. So it's actually the best time. When you come in the summer, like I say it's hot, it gets in the 90s, but people in Florida are like, that's not hot. But I think that's hot for the summer. So like the spring and the fall are definitely the time to come explore Utah.
And I'm sure you got no humidity out there like we do here, like
None.
100% humidity, and you walk outside and you're just soaking wet at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's disgusting.
That's the same here.
Yeah, so I just I tagged, just put the link for the Landscape Lighting Live in the comments below. So if you want to go check that out and take a look at that. But I really thoroughly enjoyed every part of that. And I probably will, actually, no, I'm not probably, I will be back. And I'll be back when we get a new sales manager. And I'll probably bring one of my installers next year when we come back out there, because it's not just for the owner. You got to bring the team. I found that so important last year to invest in your team to get them out to these classes, these trainings, because now you're empowering them to be a better leader themselves, more confident in what they're doing, to go sell the product, to go install it. And they just feel really good going to them, especially if they've been doing it for a while, because now they're like, yeah, you know what, we're doing that, but we could do this better. Or we're not doing that and we need to implement that. And when they can come back with that and say, hey, boss, this is what I learned, and they're telling you those things instead of you telling them,
yeah,
that goes a long way.
That's a great point. The sales team and the install team both being on the same page, speaking the same language. seeing the step-by-step approach, to have that kind of continuity within a business, it's huge. It's priceless.
I think that's cool you guys bring that up. When I was running my business, right, and talk about fixing my past and all this stuff, like there's no way, like if you think me 10 years ago, there's no way you would have convinced me to go to this experience, like this training experience. And if you did convince me, there's no way I would have taken someone. And now I'm like 180 degrees because I've gone to these events and I'm like, wait a minute, like Andy's bringing his team, JC's bringing his team. I saw people doing it at Clippa. They had their team and I'm like, holy cow, dude, I can't believe how much I missed the opportunity to build that culture. Yep. And I wondered why I couldn't keep people longer than a couple of years. It's like, well, because I was going and learning, trying to get them fired up and everything, and it just wasn't working, just like you guys are describing. So, yeah, I've seen now what not to do, and I've seen what to do. And there's no coincidence that the companies that are absolutely killing it, not just in revenue and profitability, but they're happier. They're able to maintain and they're able to keep their team members. They're doing it right. They're going to these events. They're involving their team. It's like they have the all same common denominators, Yep. So it's obvious once you take off the blinders.
Yeah, same thing. 10 years ago, nope, I'm going to every single event. That's it. I'm not spending $400,000, $500,000, $1,500. Now it's like, well, how much is it? When can you go? Let's go. Like, just get out there, go learn, go have fun. And I want them to have fun out there. Like, enjoy the time off. Go out and explore. Do those things. I sent Joe out to Transworld in February with his wife. I flew his wife out there with him. I'm like, go have fun. Here's the room. Here's the card. And they loved it. Like, his wife loved it. He loved it. And it was just fun hearing the stories. He's sending me pictures throughout the day, sending me videos. He's like, dude, I don't know why they're doing this. We do things better. Or, hey, we can fix this and do this better for us too. So January is asking, how much is it?
So it's $1,697 per person. And basically what that includes is all the training. And then we have, it's 2 days. So it's May 18th and 19th, Thursday, Friday. We also include all the meals with that. It's really important that we eat together. We don't want people like running off and getting lost. And a lot of good things happen at those meals. People get to know each other. And those are the connections that you guys are talking about where like all of a sudden, like that one conversation might not even be anything I say where you're like, dude, just that one connection just paid for the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then you do have to get your airfare, or you have to walk or take a bus or an Uber. Like you have to figure out how to get here. And then what was I going to say? Oh, the hotel. So once you buy your ticket, we give you a discounted room block rate. Right now, you have to buy your ticket soon. And this is not just a fake scarcity sense of urgency. The hotel has given us a deadline where they'll hold this room block rate. It's only $139 a night, which is it's never going to be that low again. I don't know how we got it that low. Darcy is my assistant. She probably, put him in a headlock or something, but so it's well worth it. It's only going to take you a couple cells, if that, to even pay for this thing. It's definitely an investment. And I learned that years ago. My wealthy clients, they never cared what it cost. They never asked, what does it cost? They just want to know what it's worth.
Right.
And so that's one of the questions I changed my mindset. Instead of asking like, hey, what does that cost? I'm like, I wonder what it's worth. Because if it's worth more than you're paying, then you pull the trigger.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If you can't go back and sell that $1,700 or whatever it is for the airfare, $3,000 within the first 2 weeks, I mean, you probably did something wrong. You probably didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Because it's like like you said, you're shortening the learning curve. You're saving money by avoiding mistakes as well. Because I can go back or not attend your class and been charging too low, doing the installs wrong, having to do callbacks all the time. So you really
great point.
Yeah, you're just saving that much time. How much is your time worth? Like those 2 days was worth a lot of money for us. Patrick just sold a $10,000 residential job yesterday. We just installed a $6,600 residential job today. Sold a $15,000 commercial job within 2 weeks of getting back from your class.
Nice.
So I mean, those are big tickets. Like, that's what, $30,000 right there from a $3,000 expense. So
That's freaking awesome, man. How long? Let's talk about that real quick. You did that $6,600. How long did that take?
We started at 9:30 and we were leaving at 4:00.
That's awesome. See, that's why I love landscape lighting, is because you get these people that are used to doing kind of lower ticket stuff. And then it's like, no, you can do this. You can have $10,000 days in this, not all installs just like go in like butter. Like there's some that are more challenging, whatever, but especially as you get more experience, your crews get used to it. This is a high ticket, high margin business that even if you invest in advertising and it's slower to work than others, it's not that hard to make your money back on your investments.
Not at all.
Absolutely. And I can't think of a better time of year to get your team fired up, right? Right at the beginning of the season. Let's go.
Yes. I mean, spring's rolling out. Everybody's starting to get outside. Everybody's moving. They haven't seen their house in the spring or at night. And what are we going to wait for? Why are we going to wait till September, October? Because, I mean, then it's cold, then it's late, then you get into the wintertime, and you're not likely going to be selling as much as you can right now in the spring while everybody's enjoying their landscape lighting, being out in the summertime, hosting these parties and events, and talking about the beauty of their home that can be, lit up with our services. So
I think that's good you bring that up, because there are people that are like, man, I really want to come, but send me the link for the next one. They're like, it's this perfect procrastination mode that they're stuck in. And it's easy for us because we've been through these experiences to know that like, that's just a flawed strategy. Like you got to just learn to take action, but it's hard for those people. What advice can you give them? Is there things that you guys have done in your business that can help them just take that action, even though they may not feel ready? Maybe they feel overwhelmed. How am I going to leave my business for 2 days? Any advice you could give them?
Andy, you want to start with this one?
Yeah, I would say that even if, as the business owner, if you can't go, to be able to send your sales guy, if you have a sales guy that you're trying to get going, a lead guy that you want to take a little bit more pride in what he's doing, give him some autonomy, right? Give him kind of the keys to the car, per se, to go learn, get fired up, go into the season. I mean, this is the time of year where being fired up is going to get you through an awful lot, right? Because it gets busy, right? We start getting busy toward the end of May, going into June, July, August. Let's go in with some momentum. That would be my recommendation is get some momentum going and then ride that wave, man.
Yeah, and when is the perfect time? Seriously, it's like, is tomorrow the perfect time? Is next year going to be the perfect time? No, right now is the perfect time, because take the action, get it done, and then you have the tools and resources to finally implement it. Like I said, it took me 3 years to finally get going with this. 3 years of I'll do it next season. I'll do it next season. And even when your class it really was not the perfect time for me to go there. I just got back from 2.5 weeks of being in Phoenix, Arizona, driving cross country. And then when I left your class, I went straight to something else like a day later. Oh. But I made it work because I knew how important, how valuable it was for our company, that if we didn't do it, if we didn't execute on it right now, it would have been 2024 before we finally decided to do it. So May 18th, I mean, that's perfect time for me.
Love it. Well, I think
stay an extra day or two also, by the way. Like I said, that was one of the most important things was being able to kind of stay out of the business, but still be talking about it going into those last days of the training.
And here's what we're going to do. So the training's Thursday, Friday. It officially ends with dinner that night about 6:00. Saturday, if they need to leave late Friday or Saturday, that's totally fine. But if they want to stick around, it's not part of the actual, it's like not sanctioned landscape lighting training. But that Saturday, depends on the weather and what's going on. We're going to go on a hike in the mountains. We're going to go to Park City. We're going to do something to get you in the Utah environment, right? So, and again, it's just more opportunity. Like a couple of guys are just excited. They're like, I don't care what we do, as long as we can talk about business, talk about life. Like some people just need to get out of their business. You know, it's mundane sometimes, just doing the same thing over and over. So come hang out, stay that extra day if you can, and leave Sunday. We've got, I don't have a head count on that yet, but a handful of people are doing that. If you need to leave, that's okay. But if you can stick around one extra day.
Count
Saturday,
me in for that.
Sunday.
Count me in
Saturday?
for that. Absolutely. Right. Let's do this.
Ryan, I got one more question here from January.
So it is per person. And the reason we do that is because Maybe eventually I might change it, but right now we keep it to a limited number of people. So the max number of people that we're going to have here is 30. And the reason we do that is we want to make sure everyone's questions get answered, make sure you get enough attention to whatever your current challenges are, your questions, your obstacles. And so it is limited seating. I'm not exactly sure how many we have left. I think we still have tickets, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it here, but it is per person, and that's why it's really limited seating for it. If I change later on and we have like 50, 100 people, whatever, then we might do a discount for second person. But because it is limited seating, we want to provide max value.
He asked if you talked about lead gen too. I would say come with a list of questions. One of the things that was really valuable to me was that I had some one-on-one time and some time to ask the questions that were really pressing. And so you cover a lot on the podcast. You cover a lot in your material, but to be able to ask you questions that I haven't quite been able to figure all the way out and have you answer them directly, that was just huge. It was a game changer. And normally I just want to come away with 1 or 2 nuggets. I came home with a whole sack full.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we do cover lead generation and stuff like that. Of course, we'll give you some like step-by-step things that you can do out of the gate to go make that money that JC did to cover it. But I like what you said, Andy. I mean, I have a curriculum, and we're gonna stick to that, and that's why we're gonna have some time at breakfast, at lunch, at dinner, and that first night, it's a long night. We're gonna be going from about 8 in the morning till about 10, 11 o'clock at night, because we're gonna be doing some stuff at night. So be prepared, guys. This is not for the weak. So we're gonna do that, and then the second day we do end a little bit early. We'll finish with dinner about 6, and so we'll have some time for Q&A and stuff after that as well. So yeah, this is your chance to be with a small group of people to get any questions that you have answered. We'll get them covered.
So Ryan, real quick before we get off here, what happened? I don't know. Was it 3 or 4 weeks before your Tampa class? Everybody was signing up. You're like, I got a couple more, and then what happened?
It was crazy. I actually had like 5. I'm like, hey guys, 5 spots left. This is it. And I'd say within an hour, it might have been 45 minutes, whatever. Within an hour, it sold out. And that was not a marketing thing. It was just like me saying, guys, there's 5 spots left. People were disappointed last time, and that's what happened. And I had people messaging me like, hey, I went to buy the ticket and it won't let me to buy a ticket. I'm like, yeah, because it sold out. Like, that wasn't me just like trying to be a marketing guy. Like, I literally am limiting it to 30 people. So once it sells out, like, people are like, hey, put me on the list. Like, if someone backs out, like, I want to be there. I'm like, people don't back out to this. Like, if they buy a ticket, they're coming. And so I did feel bad that we had about 6 people that were on the list of like, hey, like messaging me personally saying, how do I get it? Like, I know you, man, like, get me in. I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I told these people it's a small group. We're going to do that. And yeah, I think we could have sold way more tickets to that event. But I honored my word. So I'm doing the same thing here. So this is your warning, guys. And I've even had people with the last one say, well, oh man, I wish I would have known. I didn't know. And I'm like, gosh, I feel like I'm on Facebook every day telling people like, come to this event. Like, how did you not know? So
like
that's why we're doing
right
this
now. Yeah.
I know, for real. Like, how many times do I got to say it? So this is your final warning, really. Like, this is your chance. So if you're on the fence, get your ticket. You will not regret it. You will regret it if you don't, because you'll be like, oh, I should have gone. Should have done it 3 years ago. And no one wants that.
FOMO's real at Landscape Lighting Live.
And if anybody has any questions that they want to ask about somebody who's actually attended, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. I'm happy to answer any questions, share any inside information about the event. I'd be happy to help anyone.
Dude, Nate. Oh man,
Nate's going to be there.
I love
Ramon's going to be there.
Yeah, those two are just they're phenomenal. The things they're doing in the industry are incredible. So I'm excited.
Here's the thing. Like, with those guys, I feel like I should almost pay them to come, because like, yeah, I'm going to give away a ton of value. Like, I literally put the cream of the crop of my 16 years experience into these 2 days. But if you come and just hang out with those guys, you're going to get value. You know what I mean? So like, it's not just me, it's the attendees, it's the whole experience. And that's why I don't call it an event. I call it an experience, because it truly is an experience.
Agreed.
Well, I appreciate it. May 18th, May 19th, Salt Lake City, Landscape Lighting Live. Do not.
Did you put the link?
I did. I got the link in
Okay,
there.
good.
It's below, a little bit.ly link right there. It takes you right to the landing page, and you can sign up right there. Now's the perfect time to start investing in your team and yourself. So don't wait like I did, because next year becomes 3 years, and then you're going to start regretting it. Get involved, get invested in the landscape lighting now, because it is the next big thing that's coming out. And I see it. It's going to be explosive in the next couple of years. So why not be ahead of the curve and set the standard for your community, for your area? Ryan, Andy, you guys are awesome. Thank you. I'm going to leave now because I got to go check out those landscape lights that we did, and I'll share some pictures with you later.
Hey, thanks
You're
for
the
having
man,
us on.
JC.
Take
See you,
care,
buddy.
guys. Bye.
See you guys.